This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social in association with Betfred. And for the first time, I'm joined by Eddie Hearn, first out of everybody at the press conference. First time for a long time, I should say.
Really? Okay.
Usually we have to queue up and we either get the huddles these days, Eddie.
When you're so popular, I have to be honest with you, it is. It's hard. It's hard for you, but it's hard for me because I'm so popular that I've got. I mean, how many interviews do you reckon I'll have to do today?
I'd say maybe 10 to 15.
Don't mug me off, Andy.
Well, think about it, right? So you got us, IFL, seconds out behind because plug in every channel here.
You've got ITV, you've got BBC. I mean, you've probably got 5 sort of mainstream nationals. Then you've got the writers, right? Individual writers. Then you've got all you guys. So don't mug me off with 15, Andy. I'm talking more like 40. I know I can exaggerate, right? But I would say more like 100.
I mean, there's some partially exaggeration going on there. You also seem to be Fraser Clark's favourite new promoter. Yeah, talk to me about that one, Eddie.
I said, honest, like, there's no point dressing it up. I just said it how it was, and I love Fraser, and I'd tell him. I wanted a close up because I was looking really well, and I had to lose when I zoomed in. Obviously, the sides went like that, and AJ was on one end, Fraser was on the other end. So it's the obvious selection. So Big Fraser was man down for the glow up on the gram. What can you do? But he actually messaged me going, "Thank you so much for all the followers," because he's had a lot of exposure.
Well, he had a smart little reply back himself with a bench along.
It was very good, very 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 sharp witted.
Obviously, away from that, we're up in Leeds. Martinez, Warrington too. Eddie, I'm sure when this fight happened all those years ago, nobody really expected to see them share a ring again, especially for a world title. Heading into Saturday night, what do you expect to see this time around?
I think we'll get a great fight. I think we'll get 2 guys that are desperate's a strong word, but like especially when it's for a world title. But in terms of saving their career, and I think with Kiko, a lot of his sort of early middle part of his careers. I remember when we used to do fights with Kiko, he was a liability. Like he was preparing badly, he was a bit volatile, he was a bit crazy. It seems like as he's matured, he's worked harder and harder, and I don't think he wants boxing to end. Because it was about to end probably on the Kid Galahad night when he turned around a remarkable victory. So, and for Josh, the same. I think you have to be honest, if Josh Warrington loses on Saturday night, he retires from boxing. So that's a scary thought, Andy, when you love something. You imagine that the pressure was on you to deliver in an interview with me. And this was the last interview. If you didn't get this right, your days of interviewing with Boxing Social would be over. That's a lot of pressure. Could you handle that pressure, Andy?
I could handle that pressure easily.
On a serious note, you understand what I mean? When you love to do something and they're saying, if you lose this, it's over. That's a scary thought, because what else do you do with your life when you've given so much to something like this? So both those guys are fighting not just for a world title, but to hold on to what they love. And that's why you're going to get a great fight. I mean, it's hard to say, I think we'll get a fight like Wood-Condon, because that was just one for the ages. But I really think we're going to get a brilliant fight. Warrington's never in a bad fight. And really, nor is Kiko. So I think, touch wood, we get a brilliant fight. Touch wood, everyone comes out healthy. I love Kiko. I'm cool, so I'm cheering for Josh Warrington with the 12,000 crazy fans in Leeds. But respect to both, may the best man win.
When you mentioned this as being a potential kind of crossroads fight for both, and the loser will have to walk away from the sport, not necessarily have to, but very difficult to come back from. When you signed Josh, could you ever imagine that at this point you would be in this position?
The first spell with Josh Warrington couldn't have gone better, right? We built, with Josh and Steve Wood, this superstar in Leeds, where all of a sudden we went from 200 or 300 travelling to Hull to 10,000 in the arena and the best atmosphere in British boxing. When we parted ways, and then when we got back together again, it was a complete disaster. The pressure was on because of COVID. All of a sudden, the Kanzu fight fell through. He had to vacate the title to look for bigger fights. Took a warm-up fight in between, which happened to be the most dangerous featherweight in the world, in Maurizio Lara. Lost that fight. Decided to rematch him in front of 20,000 at Headingley. That gets, cut short. Now all of a sudden he's fighting back for his old title on the verge of having massive unifications in America in the summer, or Lee Wood at the City Ground. It's like, for me personally, this is important because it hasn't gone the way that we all wanted it to. And if he wins on Saturday, we can all have a hug and go, fucking hell, what a mad sport. And now you've got it, because the thing he wanted more than anything was to have his big night in America. That's what he wants. And you win a title now, you go into a Navarrete fight, you go into a Santa Cruz fight, it's there for him. But he's got to win on Saturday. And I've never seen Kiko Martinez like this before. I've never seen him so confident. Talking, he's almost goading the Leeds fans, isn't he? But I love it. And I just, I really, really want Josh to win this fight, because it feels like if he didn't, this second phase just hasn't worked the way we wanted it to. That's sport, that's life. But, if he wins, we can do some amazing things.
You mentioned doing some amazing things. I know you don't want to look beyond Saturday night, but speaking to Josh yesterday, he said he would be more than happy to go to the City Ground to face Lee Wood. I'm sure that was kind of music to your ears as well, because there's kind of a debate, would Josh want that up here in Leeds or down there?
You'd have half probably from Leeds and half from the atmosphere. Would be incredible. Lee Wood's working with the Zone on Saturday. At some point, we're going to sit down with Lee and Ben and MTK and decide what is next. Really, I think there's 4 options really. You've got the Navarrete fight, you've got the Leo Santa Cruz fight, which obviously the WBA may order, you've got the Michael Conlan rematch, and you've got the winner of Saturday night. So they're all in play. I said to Lee Wood that if you beat Michael Conlan, we go to the City Ground. I'm up for that, but we've got to spin it round quite quick, because you get one chance and it's the summer. So we'll see what happens Saturday. I'm sure Josh went to Manchester, didn't he, when he boxed Carl Frampton. He doesn't just have to box in Leeds, but he's also a huge draw here. But so is Lee Wood now.
Away from the main event, Maxi Hughes, Ryan Walsh.
Yeah, really good fight. Actually think it's a big banana skin. Like, Maxi all of a sudden has won all these big fights, John O'Carroll, Straffon, and sort of sits kind of like on the verge of a phone call from one of the big boys. And then Ryan Walsh pops up, jumps up a couple of divisions. We all know at featherweight he was crucified for years, and really fancies it. He said yesterday, I want to give everyone another fight like Wood Conlan. Now again, I hope so. If we had 2 similar, it would be some night. But really, really good fight, and I think it's a very, very close fight, that fight.
In Maxi's case, he's desperate for one of those other leading names in the lightweight division. If he was to be successful, are you confident the next one will be against one of those other contenders?
We have to deliver that as well, and he's done his part if he beats Ryan Walsh, and we've got a track record of doing that. Look at Michael McKinson last week. Made an absolute fortune in America, changed his life with one fight, made like nearly 10 times his highest purse to go over there. We've got the ability to do that on different shows, and Maxi's earned that. The lightweight division, obviously, hopefully, with Haney-Kambosos and Garcia, it's a little bit tied up, but he deserves a big fight if he gets through on Saturday.
Can I just ask, I'm not privy to contracts and what have you, but with Michael McKinson, would his contract still have been the same despite all the opponent changes and what have you last week?
Financially, no, but very close. And actually we have to thank Golden Boy for that, because the money that he got paid for that fight, quite frankly, was exceptional. And Golden Boy helped us. Michael McKinson said yes to every opponent, and now he sits on the verge of another big payday, and probably a bigger one than the first one that he was supposed to get. So he's walking on water, and good luck to him.
Do you expect to make that fight next?
Which one?
Ortiz, McKinson?
I don't think Ortiz will be seen at welterweight again. That's what I think, which would be a shame. Although good news for a lot of welterweights, but I think he's going to move to 54, but we'll see.
Cecilia Roman versus Ebony Bridges.
That's a war. Ebony Bridges, I think everybody's sort of got over now the whole, weigh in and, jokey stuff, and realised she's a proper fighter. She makes more sacrifices than most in the sport, and she's tough as nails. She will stick it on Cecilia Roman from the first fight, and Roman has a tremendous energy. She's one of the longest reigning world champions in the sport. It's a very, very tough fight for Ebony Bridges, but I tell you what, she's given everything, and so has Mark Tibbs. Great little team up there. You see it become, important to a trainer, and this is important to Mark Tibbs because they've gelled, and Mark Tibbs has fed off the fact that Ebony Bridges wants it so badly. And but it's a really tough fight. Pound for pound, one of the top fighters, Cecilia Roman. But Ebony can do it, and she's going to have the whole crowd behind her. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant, and because Josh Warrington's dad also trains Maxi Hughes, Ebony Bridges will go co-main event, so they can have a break between the 2 fights. So it's a massive opportunity for her, and if she can win, she will change her life. She'll be a huge star, and she can do it.
Sky Nicholson's UK debut, and Dalton Smith also returns. An exciting year ahead for him. Yeah,
Dalton Smith is, I think, one of the best prospects in the world, and we're getting to a stage where we don't call him a prospect anymore. Sam Maxwell was supposed to fight Dalton Smith, pulled out of the fight to go and take another option. We're looking to fight for the British title next. Ray Mollett is a really, really tough fight. European amateur champion, world honours as well as an amateur. Good record, by far the toughest fight so far of Dalton's career so far. Sky Nicholson looked brilliant in America. I mean, took on all week was a. I'm thinking to myself, why are you fighting a 3-0 Mexican from San Diego in her hometown? But she won every single round. And this week she has a different kind of fight in Beck Connolly. Kind of like a gatekeeper to all the good young fighters coming through. Sky's got to do a job on her, and then we're looking to keep her nice and active. Obviously, one of the benefits of being with us is American debut, back to the UK. She could land on the Taylor Serrano card. We have to see, but she looks great. Callum French as well on Before the Bell. Mally Wright in a rematch, very, very tough fight. Corey O'Regan. It's a really, really good night of boxing, and if it gels, we're going to get a cracker.
Eddie, just a few other topics to touch on. Devin Haney seems to be the front runner for the Kambosos fight now, according to reports. That one could be close to being agreed upon soon. Obviously, with Vasyl Lomachenko opting to stay in Ukraine and defend his country, of course, thoughts going out to everybody there. Just an update on the Haney-Kambosos front.
I had a long chat last night with Devin and Bill. We're going through the terms, and also obviously with the Zone as well. Lou DiBella, promoter of George Kambosos. I think we're in a good place. We've still got some work to do, but I'm hoping we can get that fight closed off this week. And I see George Kambosos. TikTok. We got an offer 24 hours ago. There's a lot to decide. It's a 2-fight deal, and they want a rematch clause within it. Devin's a champion as well, but whatever it takes to get this fight made, we will try and do. And Devin really badly wants this fight. It's a brilliant fight for boxing. I love George Kambosos, but I back Devin Haney in this fight all the time, and I want to go to Australia really badly. I've never been to Australia.
Just even like on a personal front with family or anything?
Never been to Australia. I've heard great things. I want to go there. I'm desperate to go there. So what better excuse than the undisputed World Lightweight Championship?
Do you have any idea on like a capacity for what's being looked at?
I mean, look, we will. I said to Devin last night, Devin's kind of like, are you promoting the show? I said, do you know what? No, I think we're going to be in association with, we're going to be the B-side. Mate, I don't care. I signed you at a stage, you didn't have a world championship. You are one win away from becoming undisputed lightweight world champion. We will go to Australia as the B-side, the D-side or the Z-side, and we will go and win all those belts off George Kambosos. And we will dance in the ring, and after that we're going to go onto the beach in Australia. We're going to put a shrimp on the barbie. I won't do that because that's cringe. But we're going to have a great time. And that's what legacy's about. Legacy is what Devin Haney wants. He won't outprice himself in this fight. The money he's being offered is not good money in relation to the money he's been making. He doesn't care. Say he doesn't care. He cares about legacy. And this is a legacy fight. I said to him last night, you go over to Australia and you become undisputed lightweight world champion. You're the biggest American star in boxing. So let's get it done.
Eddie, away from that heavyweight talk, I just want to get you some kind of reaction from some comments I've seen from yourself on the Fury-Whyte fight. There's just loads of different problems to resolve. I don't think it's going to affect the fight, but to be honest with you, I'm so glad I'm not involved. Hopefully they both get in the ring and give everybody a great fight. What are these problems?
Oh, loads. I mean, there's some. I think Riaf from Daily Mail was a big story in the paper today. I don't want to go into it because you've only got to read the press. But I said, as you said in that quote, I don't think it'll affect the fight. I'm sure the fight will take place, but it's just all I hear, all I see is like problems. And when I say I'm so glad I'm not involved in the fight, I wish I was promoting the fight because it's a great fight and it's Wembley. But when I see how all the things going on, I'm glad that I'm not in that situation. But listen, it's a great fight. I'm sure it will happen. Again, stories breaking today and stuff like that. I'm not going to comment on them, right, mate? Because people think that I'm all of a sudden being salty. So, sorry? You? Are you boozing again? Sorry, I'm with the legit, the real professionals over here, Boxing Social. IFL just seem to just want to get on the vodka, Yeah.
Fury-Whyte,
yeah. So again, let's just see them both in a ring. Good fight.
For it to be mentioned like this, though, is there any risk at all the fight does not go ahead?
Always risk. But look, it's a big fight. Everyone wants the fight. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Away from that one, Usyk-AJ too. Obviously, we've seen the latest news about Alexander Usyk, or reports rather, that Alexander Usyk's kind of leaving the Ukraine now, getting ready to set up camp, of course, courtesy of Mike Coppinger. What's the latest?
Yeah, it's kind of changed or changes every day, you know, and you'd expect that with the current situation. So we've got some calls with Alex Krasik later on today. I've gone from pretty sure it'll happen to actually don't think it'll happen to back to pretty sure it'll happen. So let's see, you know, maybe we'll have another chat tomorrow. Or we'll put something out tonight. But I think right now we expect to see that fight in June. And you know, I spoke to AJ last night, the only fight he wants. So he's happy. Let's, you know, if Usyk can get to camp, which he looks like he can, let's get the fight moving.
It's obviously a delicate subject, but how does Alexander feel about it all with obviously everything that's going on?
I haven't spoken to him. You know, this is a very personal decision. You know, on one hand, you've got the stay in your country, and the other hand you've got the opportunity to go and perform in one of the biggest sporting events in the world and represent Ukraine, which again is a powerful message. So Usyk's a great guy, he'll make his own decision, and we're ready to fight.
Did you have any conversations with anyone about potential interim fights?
No. I had approaches from people, but no negotiations.
So I spoke to Adam Morale last week, and Adam Morale.
Oh yeah, Adam Morale.
And he said, Morale, my apologies, Adam.
Yeah.
Morale, Adam said that...
When he's in Italy, he's Adam Morale. You know?
Yeah. Oh.
Hey Adam Morale. But we know him as Adam Morale.
We do, Eddie. Yeah, don't really know what to say to that. No contact saying's going to have a ball with this interview. But yeah, spoke to him. He said that I think he reached out to 258 about potentially making that Joyce fight if he had stepped in. But he did say himself that Usyk was. He was told that Usyk was.
I'm AJ's promoter, right? Exclusive promoter. Of course, 258, his management team, etc. No one, every other heavyweight, probably in the top 10, reached out to me, or representation reached out to me, but not Joe Joyce's. So. Now, when you hear, I reached out to AJ, you know, no one reached out to me about fighting Joe Joyce. It doesn't matter because we're fighting Usyk anyway. But when you hear all this, oh, we've reached out to them, they don't want to know. No one, not one representative from Joe Joyce's team, phoned me, emailed me, messaged me, anything about fighting Anthony Joshua.
Does this go to kind of a promoter rivalry side of things then, between obviously yourself and Frank Warren?
I mean, all these people want is the golden ticket to fight Anthony Joshua. So we're not even, you know, Joe Joyce, we're not chasing Joe Joyce. These guys are chasing Anthony Joshua, which is quite right, and that's not being disrespectful. It's the same with Canelo Alvarez. But Luis Ortiz's representatives phone me. Otto Warlin's representatives phone me. Zhilei Zhang's representatives phone me. Who else? Loads of them. Another 3 or 4 heavyweights phone me. But I didn't get a call from Joe Joyce's team. That's all I'm saying. And not saying they don't want the fight. Of course they do. But just don't listen to, we reached out and, you know, yeah, Adam might have called 258, something like that. I'm the promoter. AJ's got his team. No one approached me, emailed me, anything about a fight with Joe Joyce. So if they want it so bad, that should tell you how bad they really want it.
I don't want to go around in circles. Will you be attending Fury-Whyte?
I don't think I'm allowed, but...
Have you actually been told you're not...
going in the corner. I was thinking about going in the corner and carrying the bucket. I would do that.
Save yourself a few quid.
I would put on a Dillian Whyte t-shirt and carry the bucket in the corner. Imagine the buys. Might double the buys. The announcement, Eddie Hearn to carry the bucket for Dillian Whyte.
Moving on. Andrade Parker was announced.
I'm in a very mischievous mood today.
It's all good, Eddie. Andrade Parker was announced for May 21st in Derby. Will anybody be attending that on behalf of Matchroom?
Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, he's represented by Matchroom Boxing USA. Very close with the guys out there. We have a show the same night with Boatsi, Richards. Yeah, I'm sure the guys will be there.
Was any discussions held, or will there be any held to try and make sure that kind of a main events don't clash at all?
No, I mean, I think because of curfews with football grounds, normally you go a little bit earlier when you're in a football ground. So, well, Andy's done an hour so far. So, one more question. Oh, look, Coogan's getting jealous up there. Look. Yeah, I'm sure. You know, if we can, it doesn't. There's so many clashes at the moment. You can't really help it. But if we can, great.
Final one. We saw David Avanesian return to the ring on Saturday, winning the first round.
Amazing fight. Yeah.
Any interest in making the Conor Ben fight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, not on the back of that. because at the moment he's fought Liam Taylor and Metz, and he's calling out Conor Benn, Keith Thurman, and by the way, David Avanesyan's a class fighter, but I think 6,000 people watched that fight on BT on Saturday night, and you know, but it's a good fight with Conor Benn, and after hopefully he beats Chris Van Heerden, Conor Benn needs a fight like that. Not necessarily him, because there's much bigger fights to be made, but he would definitely be the level and the calibre that we should be fighting in the summer.
Final words, Eddie, to you. What day did you say? It's Thursday. Thursday motivation.
Final words tomorrow. Thursday motivation. I just think life's a blessing, to be honest with you. I think we'd all be idiots, wouldn't we, not to realise how lucky we are to be on this world. Just breathing. Look at it today. Blue skies. You can walk out there. You can walk. You can feel the air. You can see everything. You can hear. We're so lucky. We're so blessed. And sometimes life, you get angry at things, don't you? People just need to relax, enjoy their life, because one day we'll be in the ground. And when we're in the ground, or when we're about to go in the ground, you will look back and go, I can't believe how miserable I was at times. So don't be miserable, be happy, love one another, but most importantly, probably the most important thing in life right now, as I stand here and talk to you, Andi Purewal, from Boxing Social, is subscribe to DAZN for the Warrington Martinez card in Leeds in front of 12,000 people on Saturday night. It is the biggest show in the world this weekend from Leeds. Do not miss it. You're just coming up back of Wood Condom. Incredible fight. Don't forget, if you subscribe this weekend, look at what you're getting as well. Next week, you're getting our show in Spain. Then you're getting Gennady Golovkin against Murata for the Unified Championship. You're getting Conor Benn coming up on April the 16th against Van Heerden. And then you go to Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano, Canelo against Bivol, Craig Richards against Buatsi. And then we talk AJ. We'll see what happens.
Well, Eddie, I won't do the final words with you tomorrow because I'm on annual leave from tomorrow for 2 weeks.
Don't do that, yes. Boxing Social. I just thought you just don't turn up.
You know me, Eddie, I'm always a professional, but I'll leave that now and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your media duties. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ed.